Head down into the ruins beneath the dig site, start figuring out what was left behind, and uncover a schematic for some kind of power generation. Might this be how they powered everything? So welcome back to our archaeology site, where we've been digging away, uncovering secrets and finding out everything we know about this area. But today I think we need to explore the ruins hidden beneath this site and see what the ancient creators left for us. But before we do that, I would like you guys to just see what I've did between episodes. So it's not a lot, but I ended up expanding this area, getting all of this grass out, adding some coarse dirt in this area. We've got a little walkway going down, and I might just modify this a little bit more so we can see if we can add our mining drill on this little platform and automate the emptying of these chests as well. So that's the general idea of what I did over here, and there's still a lot that needs to happen. But I also want to take the time to maybe look into traveling, and by traveling I don't just mean the horses, I mean that guy over there, because I think Azu left us a dried ghast somewhere, and we need to figure out how it works. We need to get him fed and grown and all of those type of things. And I do believe for that little guy we're going to need some snowballs. So you know what that means? A little quick gathering of such resource. So we have our snowballs and we're ready to rehydrate this little fellow, but I'm not really sure how it works or how long it takes. All I know is we need to get ready. This is where I pull it out last time. I might reuse this because that's clever, because then the water will flow there. But anyway, we need to rehydrate him. So if I put him down over here and I waterlog him, there we go, stay hydrated. And now I think we just wait. I don't know how long that takes. So what I want to do is, while that goes, I think we can quickly go make a harness. And while we're here, I do think we should maybe just grab ourselves a leash. We should have one in here. There we go. And then also just a fence post. Okay. We've got that as well. And I do believe now it's just a waiting game, because I have no idea how long this takes. So what I'm going to do is let's place down the leash so we know we'll do that. And let's quickly craft ourselves the saddle. Just do that. And I do believe we said cyan. Okay, so we have a saddle as well. So I guess while he grows up, I can maybe terraform this little cliff edge, make it a bit bigger so we can actually fit the drill in here. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to continue that stone wall, but bring it up on this side, almost as a retaining wall, all the way to here, and like let it fall around. But I do think I'm going to do it in maybe the tough bricks like that, because it will just look like it's part of the ruins. Okay, well, he's smiling, so this looks good. And we've managed to build a wall. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I think it's almost too high. Anyway, okay, so that's a problem for me. And then also I need to figure out this grass, because somewhere over here there's now one block of grass that keeps on spreading, and it's annoying me. So that's the problem here. And we just need to wait for this guy to, I guess, get to his last stage. It happened. He's hatched, or grown up, or hydrated. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. Snowballs. We can give him snowballs to grow faster, which is perfect. Down to 3 minutes. Let's get our lead ready. Come. Oh, I love it when they squiggly along the floor like that. 21 seconds. 12. He's going to become a big boy now. Then we got him. Okay, come back here. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, and then do I just click him with the saddle? Oh, I do. That is the coolest thing. Okay, we need to put dirt in here. Okay, dirt. Oops, I broke it.
That is the coolest thing ever. Okay, I do have a name tag. I do want to name him. So let me quickly grab that and we'll take him out for a spin. Okay, I've got a name tag for this guy, and are you ready? Because meet Gaston. I love it. Okay, let me get on to you first. Okay, forward. That's relatively simple. Space, control. If I push shift, he stands still and I'm on top of him. And we do this again. Okay, I need to do F5. Just want to see what this... This is such a cool thing. How do I go down? How do I go down? Oh, okay, it's just forward and looking down. Okay, perfect. Anyway, this is really cool. I'm pretty happy we have this guy, and now that we have some form of flight, we can go exploring further away and maybe even build some of those harder to reach builds, which will happen in the future. Yeah, but with him done, I'm quickly going to finish the wall and maybe move the mining rig into this area, and then we'll continue by maybe exploring the ruins. So I do believe the entrance to the ruins should be somewhere over here, or at least the controls to it. Maybe this? Nothing? Then maybe it's this. We found it. We found the entrance to the ruins. And what all does it hold? Well, seems like we have some power over here. And then we have some form of storage, I guess. Oh, and over here? Looks like a little workstation. I wonder if one of these books contain any information regarding those storage units. Well, it seems like an ancient tribe of creators were attempting to create a fully automatic storage module. I wonder if we can get this thing up and running so we can use it in our current base. Well, after a bunch of reading and looking around, I think we can make this storage room work to our advantage. We, however, have two things to sort out. First thing, we're going to have to sort out how we get all of these items to a general area where we can access it and that way automate our storage. But before we can even do that, we need to figure out power, because the water wheels over here are efficient and sufficient for raising the secret entrance, but to power the storage area and some of the contraptions we will need to power in the future, we're going to need more power. Lucky for us, the creators before us left us a little schematic, so we can get building on a really unique power system. So, if we want to build this new power source, we're going to have to get a few things ready. I got most of it, like the tuff. The zinc we're going to convert into nuggets, which will be used to make copycat panels. We need to dye the white wool, and then we've got chorus fruit. Chorus fruit? Well, I haven't been to the end, but there has been somewhat of a little end heist, and I was able to obtain these chorus fruits from Frog, as she got them in some form of deal, which you'll have to go check out her channel to see more.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. But then we've got our little end rods that we can craft real quick. Like that. So we've got that. So the only thing I need to do is convert this white wool into grey wool, which is done by using the communal dyeing apparatus, I guess. And that will give us all the grey wool we're going to need for this build. And like mentioned, just turning all of this raw zinc into the materials we're going to need. Oh, this isn't mine. And then in turn, smelting this crushed zinc into zinc ingots, which we can then go ahead and turn into copycat flat panes. So that should be all the blocks that we're going to need for this build. And I do think I want to do it on this little ridge over here. We could also use this ridge, but it's a little bit too close to the public workspace. I'd rather have something else in this area, or someone else can build something in this area. And then I can do the power on this ridge. So I think for now, let's just take normal tough blocks and just mark it out. I do believe we have a train system planned for somewhere over here. So we should be fine doing maybe one. Let's do a few blocks high. Let's rip this out. 1, 2, 3. And we can do one more centered. I think right. Maybe even over here. 1, 2, 3. And then a third in this area. 1, 2, 3. And then let's just see what the looks like if we hop into free cam. Yeah, I think this one needs to move up a little bit more. So it's almost in line with that block of silence base. So let's quickly grab it. So I think it's this one 2 up. So let's say over here. Quickly have a look again. Yeah, I think that's going to be perfect. And this one's far enough away that we're missing this chain. Okay, that's perfect. So the next thing I need to do is just quickly terraform, just change this landscape up a little bit. So we've got a bit of a flat area over here and the same on that side. Okay, so I modified the terrain a little bit and even filled it up at the back over here and the same on this side. And I think we're ready to start building this first power generation station, or quite simply put, a windmill. We're going to build a windmill, and we're going to start by ripping out that area. We're also going to remove this and that for now, and the reason for that is we need to get underneath there to put in the windmill bearing, and it's going to look something like this. Yep, we're going to have a copycat fence there. We'll put the little grass block texture on it. We grab ourselves a windmill bearing, and we're going to have to do that. Perfect. And that should be it for that. Second, I want to add a little glass pane over there. We're going to go with light gray because the further away we get, yeah, it reads pretty well. Okay, so we've got those. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to need polished tough fences. So we're going to need a total of 13. We're going to need flat panes, and we're going to need a scaffolding block. Maybe just grass? I do think so. No, not grass. Let's use a normal polished tuff. And what we need to do is we need to go up, and I'm going to go up at the diagonal, and then we're going to jump on here, and we need to do 13. So it's not going to happen. I need to place the first one down. My bad. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 12, 13. And then we're going to switch over to fence posts, and we're going to do, maybe we can, like that, 2, which is perfect. And then we can grab our blocks again. Oh, they're more offhand. Couldn't see them for a hot minute. And can we just do something like this, just to get a little bit lower down? Perfect. And now what we need to do is we need to physically go in and place these. And then let's do the wool already, because I don't like the fact that you can't see it. I do believe we're going to leave one like that. And then let's do this side. We're going to leave 3 open, and then we'll go out 1. And now we need to drop down. And then from the bottom as well, we'll leave 1 open. Do it like this. We'll do 3 again. 2, 3, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3. And on the 4th one, we'll go in. And then we can just fill in the rest like so. And that's it for these 2. Now, I do want to put a block right over there. But before we do that, let's just sleep. Okay. And then for this, I want to 1, 2. Put this there. It feels a bit close. And let's just see the other side as well. I want another one there. And then we're going to do walls at the bottom. So there. 1 there. 1 there. Same with this. There, there, and there. We'll rip all of this out just now. And then it's just one like this. And then we can just rip all of this out. Ooh, before we do all of that, we need to now use those end rods. Place one over there, and then 2 at the bottom. Oops. But then we'll place one right over here and right over there. And let's just see what this looks like. It's not complete, but if we hop on into free cam, yeah, I do think that's going to look epic. I need to finish this one up, and I need to build the other 2 that will also be in this area, and then we can slowly start them up and see what it looks like. Very important, these are copycat panes, but if you do glue them to this whole contraption and you flick the windmill bearing, they do act as sails. So that is a bonus, and yeah, now we can just do the rest. So let's get cracking. Whoever these ancient creators are, they really knew how to generate power. I just love how these windmills came together, and the part I like the most is the fact that they look like they're floating. So that is all done with the fact that we have glass panes at the bottom, as you can see over there. So from afar it looks like they're floating, but from nearby it's literally just on a glass pane. And the reason why we use the copycat fences, you can see the little grass block turning, and while it turns, you can actually place a block on it and it fills in the gaps. So there are no gaps there at all, and we've got 3 of these windmills. I'm just checking to see, oh, I need to replace these blocks. Yeah, I don't have blocks on me. They all need to look like this. And I will still go over this area and plonk down a bunch more leaves and bushes and grass and stuff like that. But for now, I do think the power generation part of this ancient ruin discovery is completed. And let's just quickly see from down here. Yeah, man, that looks so good. I'm actually very happy how all of this came together. I think it looks really cool, even down here on the edge. And now we have the power required to power the new storage room down below, which again is going to require, I gather, a bunch of materials, craft a few new things that I've never crafted before, like pulp, so we can make cardboard boxes. Okay, so I'm down here in the temporary little storage area, and I've got this backpack, and in here we've got some of the items we're going to need to make this whole system functional. We've got some of the copper sheets that I made, we have 1 stock ticker, and we have 2 stocklings, but we're going to need a few more. So the stocklings should be straightforward. It's just the transmitters and volts. We do have volts, we do have 1 transmitter, so we're going to need more transmitters, which again, lightning rod and redstone. So we've got redstone, we got copper, so we can make ourselves lightning rods, and I'm just gonna make 21, why not? And then we're gonna make a bunch of these. I don't know how many we're gonna need. Question is, why is it only giving me 2? Don't I have more? I do have more of those. Perfect. Let's just grab a bunch. That should be fine. And then we just combine these with those. We have 2, and we have, how many do we have? 6 or 8 volts. Let's just cheeky peek through here quickly. We've got 8, so we need to make 6 more. So I think what we're going to do is let's make 8, so we have some extras on hand. So that's perfect. So we have our stock links. Then what I want to do is I do want to make some item drains. Did I maybe perhaps make some already? Oh, I do. I do have item drains. And in brass and andesite funnels, we do have. So we should be fine with those. And now the packages. The packages, we've got all of those things, but we need block of cardboard. To get block of cardboard, we need normal cardboard. And to get those, we need to press pulp. And we get pulp by mixing a variety of items in water. So that is the one thing that we're going to need. So I'm going to put all of that in there. Grab my backpack. And let's just see. So I've got a bunch of spruce saplings. I've got some bamboo. And we can go use that to make some cardboard. So in this mixer with water, we chuck all our organic material. That should get mixed up into pulp. I don't know whose that is. We're just going to move that. And then I do believe it is 4 becomes cardboard. So if we then take these and we do press. Oh, every one becomes cardboard. There we go. And we take cardboard and let's see. I do have a crafting table in here. So if we were then to grab iron and redstone, can we do... Well, we first need to make one of those. And with those, we can make packager. And that's how we make packages. Now we just need to make a bunch more, which I'm not going to bore you guys with. I'm just going to get it all made up. And just like that, we've got everything we need to build our first ever create storage room. And I've got an idea of doing it all so it's specific items in specific containers. And to do that, we're going to need a bunch of filters and a lot of thinking. So I do think what we're going to do is we're going to set up the basic shop front, if you want to call it that, and connect it up to the storage drawers or the storage containers and do 1 vault on camera. And then I'll sort the rest out when I have time. So let's jump right into that. So my idea is to use this area over here, and I'm going to modify it a bit. I'm going to change it up so we have some form of canopy over this, so it looks like a little bazaar stall, or in our case, a little expedition hut. And we're going to use this here porker as the shop attendant, I guess, or the shopkeeper. And I want to name the pig something that's a throwback to my very first Create season. And remember, if you're here from the first season of my very first Create world, you'll remember that hog that raced all over the farm, Dave the pig. Gonna harvest all the... What the heck? The speed's been changed. I know. Well, whatever happened, it's back to normal again. There it goes again. That is way too fast. We're going to call him Dave, and he will be our little shopkeeper. Okay, so first things first, we're going to rip out all of this because we're not going to need it for now. And then we're going to do a little temporary hole in the wall right about here. And we will decorate all of this once we're done with this area. And the next thing, we're going to just dig down a couple of blocks over here. And I'm making it a bit wider because when I build this, I don't really want to struggle. So we're just going to go all the way down. And now that we're at the very base of this tunnel, I'm going to make an elevator using depots. So we're actually going to start it out on this area over here. We will have items flowing into this area, and then we need to send it all the way to the top. So how it works, we will have items flowing in this direction. It will get picked up by a depot that we have over here, and we can just do a little temporary block like that. And then if we quickly grab ourselves some shafts and a belt, let's just grab those. They're done here. Just to demonstrate it, we will basically have this connection. Items will come in, it'll get placed on the depot, and then from the depot we're going to do this, and we're going to literally pick up the items with this depot. So basically what's going to happen, items going to go up, it's going to get picked up, it's going to get placed on this depot, and then from here we're just going to continue this going all the way up like this. So every time the item gets put onto this, it will get picked up by the next depot, by the next depot, by the next one, and the next one, all the way to the top. And when we're at the top, we'll just have one final funnel, picking the item up and placing it into this chest over here. So now what we can do is we can quickly go all the way down here and we can just test and see if it works. Obviously, we won't have any items to put on a belt, so I'm going to remove the belt for now. And then let's put on 18 funnels. So we chuck the 18 funnels. You can hear them run, and if we go all the way to the top, we can go ahead and open this chest, and we will have 18 andesite funnels in here. Granted, I'm not going to have items rock up in this chest. I'm rather going to have the packages over here, and then we can just open the packages and put the items in our inventory of choice. So this is the entire sending of items up system completed. And I'm not going to block it all for now. Let's keep it open for if we need to do something else. I will, however, just place down a torch just to make sure that we do have sufficient light. The next thing we need to do is we need to give Dave over here a job. So we're going to right click this and we're going to take out our stock ticker. Now we actually first need to link it to all this, what do you call these? The stock links. So for now, I'm just going to place it down. That's fine. And you'll notice that Dave instantly becomes a shopkeeper or the stock keeper, to put it like that. And you can see that there's nothing currently in our system, which is fine. We will sort that out. But the next thing I want to do is before we go downstairs and sort that out, I also want to create a system where I can drop a bunch of stuff off and it goes into the storage system. So for that, we're going to use those. And item match, and I think we can maybe just do something over here. Maybe rip those two out and do that. I do like the red, and we can just add a hatch on here. So now what will happen is items will flow into this here vault, which is not too big because I don't think we're going to drop off that many items. But if we do need to increase the size, we can always just bring it out to the side. And I'm thinking I should really do that already. So let's rip this out and remove that as well. And we put this down over here. We put our hatch on top of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down to... And we'll just pull directly from this into our storage room down there. So we've got those two items sorted, or those two factors. We've got the input and we've got the output. And now all I need to do is place down a bunch of belts downstairs, really just figure out the logistics real quick, and then I'll bring you guys right back. So to better demonstrate my idea of what I want to do with the storage system, I thought it would be better if we check it out in a micro recreation on a little flat world I have. First of all, we will have an input, which in our survival world will be the red vault. So if we were to chuck items in here, they will get taken out, and they will get picked up by the first available barrel. But instead of having the items go into any of the storage units, I do want to make it so they go into categories. So we'll still have a variety of items in this barrel, but I would like them to be category bound. So for this example, we will take our little filter and we'll say that we want to keep the pinkish, the purplish, and the reddish corals in this one. We will give it an allow list and we can place it onto this here funnel. So now what happens if we were to take half of each of these and we chuck them in, we'll notice that the pinkish, purples, and reddish colors goes in, and the yellow goes into the next one along with the blue. So that's how the filters will work. The only difference is it will be somewhat messy, and I'll explain why in a minute. But before we can do that, let's just look at the whole storage interface. So if I right click on our shopkeeper, we'll notice that nothing is shown in this little inventory slot. And the reason for that is we haven't linked up our stock links yet. So I'm not really sure if we can right click and do this. It seems like we can. And we put one on each of the packages. And if we look at our little shopkeeper now, we can see exactly what we have in the storage system. And we know these three are in the first barrel and these two are in the second barrel. So let's say we want to make certain categories in the interface for the shopkeeper. So you will come over here, you right click that, and you can just input it into the system over here. So you right click on this, you say new category, and we can call it warm coral block coral. Let's just call it warm coral. You say finish, and we finish like that. And now we have it under that category, and this one's unsorted. So that's the general idea. That's how stock links work. That's how I'm going to do my filter system. And now I need to go back over to the server and get this whole system installed. So we're back on the server, and I think I've got it sorted out. It's all working. It's all functioning, minus all the filters and the cure for my little OCD. But we should be able to deposit, hold shift and right click, and we deposit our inventory into the system. And all I deposited now was a total of 2 stacks of cobble. They will make their way into the first available vault because there's no filter. And if we click here, we've got 2 stacks of cobble. So we can send for those. We will hear ka-ching. They'll slowly make their way up using this little elevator thing. We get our little box. And if we open it, well, we can hover over it. We can see 2 stacks of cobble. So if we shift click, we get our 2 stacks of cobble. So it's working. So what I need to do now is I'm going to go around and I'm going to add temporary filters to the system. And maybe I should show you guys this all the way down there. So if we just run down real quick, I've got this little overflow barrel. So I'm first going to add a bunch of filters and I'm going to dump everything I own into the system. We'll first of all start filling up this barrel with items that do not have areas and, well, storage modules. And then we'll take those items and we'll add them to the different filters. I have worked out more or less what I want to put in which one, so shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, but with that said, I think that's what I'm going to do now. So after a lot of thinking and planning on how I'm going to do the filters, I opted to not. I am for now just going to dump everything into the storage system. You see, this is my temporary storage, and I will be picking it up and moving it to the main base when and if we move there. But for now, I just need to get things in there. And when we do things by the main base, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to have certain factories storing certain items. So for me to go around filtering everything now might just be a waste of time. So I'm just going to let it all flow into the system. And then once that's done, we can have a look at what it looks like. So I couldn't help myself and I ended up doing a few filters just to see what it looks like, and it's neat. It is neat and I do think I like it, and I might continue to do it between episodes or I might not. I don't know yet. I'm very indecisive in regards to what to do with this storage system and the categories. But while I decide, maybe we can roll a little time lapse as we just put some form of detail and shelter over this area. Welcome to our little storage stand. I think it came together quite nice. It's not a massive build, but I think it rounds off the area pretty well. And I had an idea and I went to go explore in the single player world or the test world, and I figured out that I do not need these filters on the storage units itself. You see, what I can do is I can grab a random filter. Do we have one? And I can, for example, take it and just name it, or just give it an item. Let's say bones. We can drag a bone in there. We can say finish. And I can literally just add this filter containing that word in there. Say bone. Finish. And why didn't it give me that item? I just tested it in the thing just now. Is it because we already have mob drops on? Yeah, that's the thing. So we can literally rename a filter whatever we want, put it in here, and it will create a category. So I do not have to go and filter everything downstairs yet. I can just let everything flow in there, and I can just slowly work on the filters and get them sorted in the stock ticker itself, which is going to save me a bunch of time. And I think it's going to make it easier for me so I can really figure out what I want and how I want it. So fantastic news. But with that said, that brings me to the end of this week's episode, where we went ahead and explored the ancient ruins. We built some new power based on ancient schematics, and we finally got into our little storage network, which I have to admit I'm going to have to take some time to get used to it all, but it's such a neat little function. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then do remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and go check out all the other SMP members listed down below in the description. Till next time, bye for now.